Hi guys, you have two Khan Academy assignments today that we're going to get ready for. The first one is equation practice with angle addition. What we're going to be looking at is examples of adjacent angles. Two angles that come together add up to equal like a grand total. You can see several examples. We know this angle, QRP, and that angle, RPS, would add together to equal the larger angle, QPS. That's adjacent angles. Now, before you get started, I want to talk about rule number one, never assume 90 degrees. The only way that you can know that you're working with 90 degrees is either you're going to see the right angle symbol, that little box, or a perpendicular statement. Here's an example. Line OL is perpendicular to line ON. When you see that statement, that means you do have 90 degrees. If you do not see one of those, then you are working with something other than 90. Okay? The second example here is a great reason why you don't assume. My eyes think QPS could very well be 90 degrees, but if I read my statement up here, it actually tells me it's 88 degrees. So don't get caught by making that assumption. Okay, the first thing that I want you to do is you're going to work with your group at your table. And you're going to write equations for the 4 examples that I have given you. Okay, because the first step is being able to generate the equation that will work to solve these. Don't solve them yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the sub pause the video and give you time at your tables to generate these 4 equations. We'll make sure you have them correct. Then we'll look at how to actually solve the problem. So would you ask the sub to pause this video right now? Okay. This first example, what you should realize is this smaller angle and that angle add up to equal 107 degrees. So what you would have wanted to do is take these 2 expressions that they give you for RPS and then for QRP, the smaller and the larger angle, and you're going to combine your like terms. So I would look at my 4 x's, and when I put it together with those 9 x's, I would have 13 x's. Then I want to look at negative 115 and positive 27. Those are different signs, so I need to go ahead and subtract. 115 minus 27 is what I would do real fast. And I get 88. And it'd be negative 88, almost made a mistake, because of the fact that the larger one was a negative. Okay, so the equation that you're going to work with to solve this problem is 13x minus 88 equals 107. On the second example, I am told that RPS, so right here, RPS added to QPR, I'm told that expression, that equals 88 degrees, because I can see the larger QPS, they tell me is 88. So again, I'm going to add up those x's, 5x and 8x is going to be 13x. And now 34 and 15 is going to be 45. Is that right? No, 49. Almost made another mistake. So 13x plus 49 would be equal to 88 degrees is what I would use to solve that one. All right. Our third example, we do have our perpendicular statement. Instead of being told what it equals, now I know it equals that special situation that are complementary of 90 degrees. So now I know that the LOM is 3x plus 38, and my MON is 9x plus 28, and those added together are going to equal 90. So I'm going to combine the like terms. 9x plus 3x is going to be 12x, and then 38 plus 28 is going to be 64. So my equation would be 12x plus 64 is equal to 90. Finally, on the last one, we're told that LON is a straight angle, which means 180 degrees. So I'm going to make this equal to 180 degrees. And now I'm going to combine my terms because they give me expressions for those two angles. So 7x plus 6x is 13x. And again, I have different signs on my constant, so I need to subtract. 92 minus 12 is 80. I have more negatives, so, oops, I didn't write 80, so I make it negative 80. The equation would be 13x minus 80 equals 180. All right, we're only going to look at one example to know, to make sure that you follow through now correctly. Because you'll notice, let's go ahead and look at that first one. They do not ask you what x is. If you look at the last statement, they tell you to find the measurement of angle QPR. So let's find QPR. QPR, they want this smaller one. They want to know what that measurement is. Well, to do that, the first thing I need to do is find out what x is. So I'm going to solve this equation. I'm going to get my x's alone by canceling out the 88 with a positive 88. And I get 13x is equal to 195. Now what I want to do is do 195 divided by 13. I'm going to grab my calculator. And I get 15. X is 15. That's not my answer that I type in. I now need to use QPR, that statement, which is right here. That tells me how to get the measurement of that angle. I'm supposed to take my x and multiply it by 19 and then subtract 115 degrees from that. So I'm going to do 15 times the 9. It was 9, not 19. And that ends up equal to 135, and now it says subtract 115 from that. And I end up getting 20 degrees. My final answer that I would input is 20 degrees. Okay? So the tricky part to these is just making sure that you pay attention to what your grand total is, and that you know what angle you're actually going to find at the end. You're going to use your value of x in the expression that they ask you for to find your final answer. All right, let's go ahead and look at the back. This is examples of your second assignment, equation practice with angles. These are going to be parallel lines cut by a transversal, which most of you really enjoyed working with on Thursday. But now we're going to have to find specific angle measures based on expressions that they give us. The first step is always ask yourself, the two angles that they marked, are they the same or are they different? If they're the same, it's a simple equation. You just make the two expressions equal to each other because they're the same. If they're different, we explored the other day, an acute added to an obtuse add up to be 180. So that's why you're going to add up your expressions and make them equal to 180. So now what I'd like you to do is work with your the people at your table, your group, and generate just the equations. You don't have to solve them yet. We'll look at how to do that afterwards. But what I would like is the sub to pause the video right now to give you some time to do that. All right, let's look at these examples and see if you've got the right equations. On my first one, when I look at B and A, those are both obtuse angles, and I know in this shape my obtuse angles will always be equal. So therefore, I know that the expression for A, which is 7x plus 40, has to be the same as equal to the expression for B, which they gave us 3x plus 112. So your equation would be 7x plus 40 equals 3x plus 112. On our second example, these are both acute angles, and I know in this shape, acute angles will always be equal to each other. So again, I set up this equation by saying the 8x minus 8, the expression for A, is the same as equal to 5x plus 25, the expression from B. All right, let's explore the bottom two. Now when I look at this shape, B appears to be obtuse, but A is acute. So I've got one of each, and that means those add up to be 180 degrees. So I'm going to say whatever I get is going to equal 180. Whenever I add these expressions together, I want to go ahead and combine like terms. So 6x and 3x is 9x. And now I have opposite signs, so I need to go ahead and subtract. 53 take away 35 is going to be 18. So it'll be positive 18 because my larger quantity was the positives. So my equation is 9x plus 18 equals 180. Now let's look at the last one. Again, I have an obtuse and I have an acute, so that means those add up to equal 180 degrees. So now I combine my like terms, my x's, 6x's and 4x's is 10x's. Now my constant, those are opposite symbols, so I subtract. 48 minus 38 is 10. My larger quantity is the negative, so I make it a negative 10. It's 10x minus 10 equals 180. All right, let's go ahead and go to the first example and look at how to solve this one. What I need to do is first solve for x, so I want to make that decision, what side do we want our x's on. I'm going to go with the left side because I have more x's there. That means I'm going to put that number, the constant, on the right side. So on my left side, I'm going to keep those x's. I'm going to cancel that positive 40 with a negative 40. On my right side, I'm going to keep those numbers. I'm going to cancel those 3 x's with their opposite, which is negative 3x. So now I look, 7x minus 3x gives me 4 x's. 112 minus 40. Oops. I get 72. So now I know 4 x's is equal to 72. So now I need to divide by 4. I need to know what's 72 divided by 4. And I get 18. I'm almost there. Do not get trigger happy and type the 18 in, because look, it does not ask me for what x is. It says solve for x and then find the measure of angle A. So I need to come back up here and see what I know about A. I know that it's 7 x's plus a 40. 7 times x plus 40, and I know x is 18 now. So I want to do 7 times 18 added to 40, and now I get 166 degrees. So my angle A is 166 degrees, is what you will enter. All right, let's go ahead and look at the one right underneath that, the 9x plus 18 equals 180. This one I think about, I just need to get those x's alone, so I cancel out that 18 with its opposite, which is subtract 18. So now I need to know what's 180, take away 18, well that would be 162. So I know 9x is equal to 162. Now I want to do 162 divided by 9, and again I get 18. Okay, now I want to be careful, don't type in the 18. Let's see what they want to know. They want to know angle A, which, what did they tell me? I know angle A is equal to that x times 6, and then take away 35. So I want to look at 18 times 6, take away 35, and I get 73 degrees. And definitely on these, pay attention. Was angle A obtuse or acute? It was acute, so I should get something smaller than 90. Up here, these angles were obtuse, so I should get something larger than 90, and I did, so my answers make sense. All right, what I need you to do is work on those 2 assignments. Get those done today, and then if you finish early, go ahead and use the rest of your time to work on your weekly work. Thank you.